Okay. Just want to just check whether the live is happening.
Excuse me.
Okay, there is some delay, but I think we are live.
Just bring him. He'll stay in here.
I heard a dog.
Yeah, it's my dog. He's coming. He's like, it's crazy. Are we live?
Yeah, we are live. Yeah.
Oh, okay. It's okay. I was going to show my dog. It's fine.
Okay. We are live on Facebook. So good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
Good evening.
So just if you all can excuse me for a couple of minutes so that I can introduce the session and what we are doing. So good evening, everybody. We are joining again, like with our second session of the collective potato eaters. So I think the last session was a bit more I would say casual, like we couldn't plan much and other things. So this time we thought that we'll properly introduce people and like also uh, maybe also we did advertise it before so that more people can join without any hassles, and also we could actually go live directly. Like last time it was recorded, so this time we are going live majorly because of the reason that people can ask questions. So to just to little bit talk about the collective, this is just we all know that these are like very desperate times, and like but I believe that only during these times the like the most beautiful also can somehow evolve. So this was like a long pending dream of mine, and like I've been like speaking to many friends and comrades of mine. So we thought that this is a good time to get into practice. So right now we all know as we can't do anything physically, so we have just started some online activities, but very soon we'll after this all settles down, we'll actually be doing things physically also. So to get into the session now, like this gestures in fragments. So why this? Many people ask me why this name, and also why we have four of them. Like we have Mr. Prasanna Vithanage, we have Anjali Patil, we have Shyam Fernanado, and Dinara. So why all four of them? Like I wouldn't actually get into introducing each one of them now right now, because that I might actually lose uh, things which are actually important to introduce, like the facts or things which are. So I'm not going to do that. It will, because we're not going to. Uh, that's why also we did a little bit of preparation of introducing them through our pages, like whatever information we could gather. So we're not going to do that. But why all four of them together? Like because of the obviously because all of them are into cinema and like acting, direction and other things. But more than that, their association with Mr. Prasanna, like in different capabilities in different films, and the name, because I feel in cinema, at least as I understand as a student of cinema and like a early career filmmaker, that acting in cinema happens in fragments, like how much ever the shot can be longer, like but there is a cut, there is montage, and like unlike theater as I understand, this happens in kind of a fragment. So I thought that could be a good name to start with, good thing title to start with. And uh, So right now I'll not take much time, and we have our guest here. So welcome all, like welcome sir, Prasanna sir, welcome Anjali, hi, Dinara, hi, Shyam.
Right.
So it's very nice to have you all together this evening. And so the first thing I would ask all of you, like I think anybody can answer first, or like we can go in any order, not an issue. So every now and then when we talk about acting, especially film acting, there is always this thing people tell that uh, the essential difference between what is the essential difference between theater or acting for stage, or acting for what do you say, screen or cinema. So can we start from there?
Yeah, ladies first. Anjali.
No, no.
Because
Yeah,
all
yeah.
of you have started from theater in some
Yeah.
or other.
Can I
So I think
suggest something?
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, because I think three of them are actors, and I'm here the director. Though they have directed, Anjali has directed, Dinara has done a short film, Shyam is planning to do. But I think it should come from the actors who have worked on, I mean, in the theater. So I think they should answer.
Yeah. Let me start with some of the points that I believe that I actually, as you said, I started my career as a theater actor way back in year 2000. So that was nearly 20 years of experience which I've been working in the theater. So the basics, of course, you know that the differences between the theater and the movie for actor itself. When we perform in theater, we should address and we should project what we do to the first row as well as to the last row of the audience, which is quite it can be the realistic the approach, but we have to put some energy and project some more than, as you know, more than the film itself. And when it comes to perform with the camera or the cinema, you're performing maybe just to the tip of your nose or to as close as your chin. The cinema is very close to you. I mean, you as it is very the film uh, camera is capturing very tiny things, the very tiny gestures you do. So we have to be very conscious on how your body and how your emotions work, and you have to be uh, very confident on what you do. I mean that the camera will project very very subtle things of your movement. So in stage where I used to practice some of the, I mean, realistic approach of acting even in theater. But again, it's very much of projecting, and you are performing to a huge audience, and that is one thing. And another thing is in theater acting, you take your acting and the thing you do as a whole. I mean, what do you say, that you start of one thing and you may be acting continuously for 1.5 hours or 2 hours continuously as a whole. But we in cinema, as you know, we have the chance to I mean, as you said, we are doing fragments of the movements of the life we see. I mean, selected things of a person's life or situations. So in theater, we have to uh, uh, do the whole thing. I mean, to take it as a whole, but you have the chance in cinema to, I mean, even that is quite difficult because in cinema you have to keep the continuity very uh, I mean, consciously, because we see one scene and we in it's there can be a big uh, duration of gap between when you see from in the next scene or the next shot. So you it's very, I mean, personally for me it's very difficult to keep the continuity of your fragments of gestures in cinema. So whereas in a way that is quite easy in theater. So mm, later shall we discuss? I mean, when I mean Anjali can add something to that, and Dinara of course have experience on that.
Yeah,
So
I think I agree with Shyam. I mean, I think for me, one of the most what he said, he basically said everything. But what I see so different from cinema and theater is that in theater, all your movements and your acting is sometimes very outward, and whereas in cinema, it's very internal. You know, but at the end of the day, the similarity is that you have to feel the emotions in your heart. So I think that's the biggest similarity. But the difference is, like Shyam said, you have to project your voice. Everything is, in one line. You rehearse for so many months, and it's just one shot to get it right. But in cinema, you have many chances.
and there is another difference. I mean, uh, uh, a similarity in the theater and cinema. The preparation time, we have a preparation time. I mean, maybe a month or some. It will take 3 6 months. It's your. I mean, personally, it differ, but we have a set of. I mean, a time for the preparation, but the the delivering process is different from that, and the next part, the evaluation, is quite different again from theater to cinema, because we have in theater we have a chance to develop our performances one after the other, and in cinema it will be done on editing. The editor and the director can evaluate on then and treat how the final look can be. So the preparation period is, I think, quite similar. Is it?
I I feel the skill set which throughout these years now I came to realize that maybe the preparation would be similar, but the skill set needed for both the mediums are very different. You could start with honestly, I didn't do theater as an actor. I was designer and director in theater, and I kept almost all the time in the drama school observing actors and how they prepared. So there is a difference between the skills, of course. Sometimes I have also seen, I'll not repeat what both of you said, but I have seen some of the methods which we used for theater, or the skills. If we use it on the camera, it just goes, it goes in all the direction. So so the skill set for the camera are, in a way, I have come to this conclusion that with experience or with training or with more observation, there are different skill set which you need to understand. It's a very technical medium.
Yeah.
So in theater, I always felt that I lacked the skills which all my NSD actors or other actors have had sharpened: the speech, the body language, everything that is required for the theater. Because theater, a play is very much based on the shoulders of the actor. It is the actor's medium. Film is primarily a director's medium, and actors are one of the segment, one of the part in that medium. So actors have a lot of other things to support them. the editing, the music, the background. So in a way, in films, you have to do less, which would sound very vague, but you have to be very minimalist, because there are so many other elements which are already there to help to create that character, to create that atmosphere, which is not there in theater.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So eventually, I personally have come to this conclusion that you might have the preparation with each film. I feel with each film, the preparation of the actor changes somehow. Some film you could start like the play. With each play, the preparation of the actor changes. With the director, it changes. But you could begin with certain skills as an actor, like your voice, your speech, your understanding of the body, of your own body with the other person, and your interaction with the ambience. So these are probably the basic skill set for any actor. And then there has to be a specialization for each medium.
Yeah.
I want to hear Prasanna sir's.
Yeah. As a director, uh, my expectation when I'm directing a play or film is same. That actor, when I use the term actor for actresses and male and female both. So I expect them to bring the uttermost, the feelings of the let's say the truthfulness. The let's say there's all the time they have to they are in a, let's say, in a situation, but not to perform the situation, but to bring out the truth in that situation, what he or she is feeling. As Shyam and the others said, yes, you have to enlarge your expression to suit to theater optics in theater.
Mm.
But remember what Hamlet said to the traveling players: don't do more, neither less, be mirror to the nature. So it's, in a way, it's same. I
Mm.
agree with all what they said. The consistency, so it's fragments, like the our today topic, cinema is in fragments. But all the good actors, I mean, if finally, if you, when you are looking at the film, if you feel that they have acted in fragments, it will be a bad performance. But if they had kept the consistency, that is the sign of the good performance. So that's the most difficult thing for an actor, to keep the consistency in movement, dialogue delivery, emotions. So that is, as I mean, I agreed. It's both are, I mean, difficult, especially to the bring the truth in oneself.
And personally, I was more tensed and I mean excited when I was, I mean, among the wings of the theater than in front of the camera. I mean, before we start a performance in theater, it was, I mean, you cannot express that the feeling of, it's full of tension and what is going to happen, because you are, I mean, set to the theater, and it's uh, in your hands. What you do is the final. So it was, I mean, for me, it was so difficult to be, I mean, to start a play. It was very tenseful and a difficult experience for me.
Okay. So as we have spoke about this, so I think this is also right time for me to ask, how much is any kind of a formal training? Because I come from a film school, and Anjali had done NSD and like drama school before, and like Dinara is coming from school, and Prasanna sir himself runs a school. Maybe Shyam would have not from a school, but you have also had some kind of a formal training as an actor. So I just want to know from you all that how much because I personally don't believe in what you say is talent or born talent. Some people tell that I'm born with talent and all. So I don't believe in that. I personally believe everything is acquired, and it's practice and hard work and like whatever you do. So I just want you to throw some light on that, like how much of training is essential for an actor, and obviously for this we don't need to say whether it's theater or film. For any actor, for that matter, how much is training essential? Or is it even
But
essential?
yeah,
Because a lot of
yeah,
people just come and act also, like without any kind of this thing.
yeah.
So
This is my personal thoughts that, as you said, one may possess talent and intuition, but what a school or a, let's say, acting class does is it gives them a more scope, more options. And let's say otherwise, they will, I mean, let's say, even if you have talent, I have seen this with some actors. After showing a tremendous, let's say, promise, after some times they will be repeating themselves, the same performance. But if you have studied acting, let's say if you have studied Olivier, if you have studied Brando, and if you have studied what, uh, let's say, Stella had said, and what is the difference from what's the difference between Sanford Meisner and Stella Adler, it will give you more options. It will give you more understanding about acting.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
So
think
others,
institutes, just any kind of film schools or drama schools, they just make it easy. They just bring all these windows together, more functional. So you can open the windows and see, peep through each one of them. But one doesn't have to be in the institute. You can always, when I worked with Prasanna sir on the film, it was an institutional experience for me, and it changed my acting style. It added so many things to me as an artist. So you work with the people, you work with a certain philosophy, and you could also train yourself. I will always say that training is important, and we need to bust this myth everywhere, especially here, that you could just, because every profession, you don't go to an untrained doctor, you want a trained doctor. So we really need to somehow support this training, and yeah, so training is important in any which way.
Yeah, personally for me, I mean, I started learning, about acting from Somalata Subasinghe, who is a veteran actress and a dramatist. So there I could experience only the very basics of the theater and the process of acting, which is how to use your body, the voice, and the expression and your emotion. But as you said, Anjali, I was developing as an actor. Really lies on the people who I worked with, especially in theater. I luckily found one of our veteran dramatists in Sri Lanka, contemporary theater artist, uh, Rajita Disanayak. Working with him, I learned how to analyze a script and what is your main focus should be, how you develop a character, how to uh, be in a situation practically, I mean, when you performing. So I learned many of my theater experiences with working with theater directors and theater personalities. And even for my film career, which is the same as you said, I learned all my, I mean, what you call the techniques or the methodology or whatever from the people I worked with. In cinema, I learned the the very basics and everything from Mr. Prasanna Vithanage and the people I worked with. So that was, I mean, a very essential uh, sort of a training or, I mean, experience to an actor to work with such directors with vast experience and who are handling the subject well.
Yeah, I think I also agree with that. I think it's very important for an actor to train because there's so much that you just don't know in terms of like technical aspects and things like that. And of course, I believe in talent. I believe that there are people who are talented and they just can come on screen and shine. But then, like Prasanna sir said, um, your performance can be very stagnant, as you go. So it's very important to workshop or rehearse for an actor. And I think even with Gadi, we had like a very long rehearsal process. And I think that really helps with, building the character arc of an actor, characterization, just certain scenes, verbal, non-verbal communication, which is, I think, very important in cinema because, there's a lot of things that you feel that you don't say. So, all of this comes with training, and I think it is important.
Really actually touched on a very controversial thing of like what is the role of an actor, because I also come from a film school where there is like a lot of when we start and like right from Robert Bresson, like other thing, actors are just models, they just have to do what the directors say. We start from there, and then we have an acting department which is always in, we have always worked in collision, we have never worked together in film school. I think people who know about FTI will be able to understand this. So we always looked down upon actors, and actors always thought we are like very arrogant bunch of people who believed that actors are just models. So right now, after 2 years coming out of the institute, I'm unlearning a lot of things, a lot of hangovers. But so I would like this I would like to hear from Prasanna first. What is this? What is the role of an actor in a film? Like as Anjali told, maybe in theater it's like actors medium, or somebody would say that film is a director's medium. But at the end of the day, it's a collective art. Unlike I come from a state where actors run the business. It's because of Rajnikant or Vijay or Kamal Hassan. People go to screen, and people only knew actors till a point. Only after maybe Bharati Raja or Mani Ratnam, all these people started. Then only the names, only big names people know. Otherwise, it's just the actor because of, and we know we have even given the state to be ruled by actors, right from M.G. Ramachandran to Jayalalitha. So we know the power of the face, like as the face of Garbo, what Barth would say, like something like that. We have known the power. So I would ask Mr. Prasanna to elaborate on this, like this controversial
I will
thing about
start from
actor
theater.
director.
There is one anecdote. So, during the Elizabethan times, uh, Shakespeare as the main actor for Shakespeare was Richard Burbage. And one day, Shakespeare found that Richard Burbage is having an affair with his girlfriend. So actually, they were sitting in a one restaurant, and this is written by Laurence Olivier. So he says, this, Shakespeare must have thought, okay, I will, I will teach a lesson to this son of a bitch. Okay, I will write a role that he couldn't play easily, and he wrote Othello for Richard Burbage. So even if you write, let's say, what I can do as a writer is to challenge actors and challenge myself. But actors are for me, the soul of the film. and they are the one who brings these characters alive and truthful and make believe to the audience. So always I try to be do something challenging. But I mean, even if I write a challenging role, if the actor doesn't, let's say, perform it, or I must say the all the actors who are participating here today, and the actors, most of the actors I have worked, they have brought something from their life and added to what I have written. So without actors, I would have not been Prasanna Itani. As a director, that's not I'm not trying to butter up person, but that's for me the truth, because I love good actors. I mean, that's without them. Where would be when you said about Bresson? Though it's a let's say misconception that because Bresson said that actors should be models. Yes, he said that. Why? Because he believed in acting there are so many, unnecessary frills. Let's say Hollywood or Bollywood, or as Anjali said earlier, that so that has to be weeded to bring out the sincerity or the essence of the character, the emotions of the character. So he wanted to avoid all the theatrics of acting. That's why he said we need models, not actors. So it's a complete misconception that Robert Bresson didn't value actors. He valued highly acting. He valued. For him that if we as I said earlier, bringing the he said once that what matters is not the situation. What should preside is the emotion. So most of the people think that he's mechanical. No, he said it's what matters is what should preside is the emotion. But in Hollywood or Bollywood or image industry, there are so many. When we say emotions, it could be like overacting or kind of mawkishness. So that's what he was against.
Okay, but we took it very literally in Bollywood and Tamil
Yeah.
Nadu. So we only have models. Like, sorry to say this, but yeah, like Anjali and Dinara and Shyam. Like, what do you like to say about this?
Yeah, personally for me, when I get a project, especially in films, uh, I I honestly think of how I can contribute to this craft, this expression. For example, I have played cricket in my school days. So when I go to the ground, I personally believe we want to win the match. Not my personal career or my personal innings, that definitely will happen to win the match. But for example, if they are, we if we say we have only two balls to score, let's say 6 runs. So we have to uh, play to win the match, not for our, personal career performances. It helps to, to a director or a writer to portray a good character, or to support his what he want to say. But personally, I always tried, to contribute um, to the director or the craft or the basic idea he wants to say. And actually, I believe that I mean, uh, it is the basic of an actor to find out what is your position in this whole script or the whole idea the director is going to say. First, we have to find out what is my role. Is it wicket keeping or bowling or batting? You have to be in, I mean, I mean, you have to keep the wicket, or the director's intention or the writer's intention is the first thing that actor should, I mean, think of. And honestly, what I have been doing was that. And uh, that intention, I mean, sometimes uh, have brought me, I mean, to a kind of an actor.
I I was I think I was quite lucky to work with the directors who kind of taught me to not work just as an actor, but to work as a collaborator. So that something I learned pretty early on, since the first film Delhi in a Day with Prashant, or the other films. So so I think it was really it was very difficult to work with a certain hierarchy, when there was a certain hierarchy which also comes with uh, different kinds of, I mean, uh, yeah, our industry is cursed with the hierarchies and all the problems with which comes with that. So it used to be very difficult to work with certain directors who came with that idea, where actors are only there to fulfill their narcissistic self-driven vision. So I think it was pretty early on that I realized that as an actor, uh, you know as much as a light boy is important, there shouldn't be any difference between my work or his work or the director's work. It's just in different capacities, and you just need to be, as Shyam was saying, that you need to understand what you have to do in your capacity. So as an actor, what I can do and how I can help to my co-actors, or even to I remember, because I came from the design background, I used to help the setting people to set up things. And it would be probably with most of us who came with this theater background, that I used to help different departments just to have that one good shot. uh, so it is a collective form. And even now, as we were talking previously, Nachi and me, that especially after this pandemic, or during this pandemic, this certain equality has fallen over all of us. And all of us are in a very, in a beautiful equality, where we cannot go back to relating with each other, that, oh, you bring me the chai, you bring me this, you do that. No, it has to be, there has to be this tremendous amount of sensitivity to work and understand that what we do is absolutely precious. We tell stories which needs to be told, or which are forbidden, or which are needed, and we should be absolutely responsible about it, even like now, even more, uh, relating with the current situation.
Yeah, I think I completely agree with Anjali. Like you just said it. But I also think in simple, just to say, I also believe that, acting is sort of saying the character's story as an actor, to say the character's story as authentic as you can. So like Shyam and Anjali said everything. So I have nothing to say.
I have one thing more to add. As Nachi was saying about actors being absolutely powerful in certain industries, and that uh, I think they should now even more understand their responsibility of the power they carry through, because it is very much exploited in a not very sustainable way, and we need that power. We need that power to have sustainable ways for all of us. So I really would like to see actors using their powers of you know of yeah.
Yeah, one
They,
more thing.
yeah.
Yeah. In a nutshell, I should say this. I remember once Robert Downey, the scriptwriter of Chinatown, what he said about good actors. He said they are like ponds. The stiller the water, you see more to inside of the pond. So that's there. I mean, without even without saying a word, without uttering a single word. I mean, they can bring, let's say, a mammoth of emotions which writer cannot fathom. Let's say, so that when they are acting, when they are giving a performance, always director has to be, you know, in a position not only to judge, but to be amazed by what actors do. And while even editing, actually my editor, I mean, all the time it has been past years, Srikar Prasad. So we have been amazed by what actors have done because those words, I mean, the emotions that they bring, it's beyond my script. So how they do it. So one, I would like to add one technical thing, that is by the movement, not by the words, because we trust in a performance not what character says, but what his movement, his eye movement, his physical movement. So those are without even saying a word. That's why I said without a saying a word, by swiftly moving the facial muscles, they do it.
I don't know whether is it a friend of some of yours, like Claudette Fernando, sir. Is it a friend of anyone of yours?
Who is it?
I know Claudette.
You know Claudette? Oh, she is she, no?
She.
So she respectfully disagree. We had great actors and actresses without zero training in Sri Lanka. My opinion is acting is like a meditation. You bring out your soul into each and every character in many other situations. At the end, it's all how you adapt and understand life. Great actors have great understanding of life, which will easily to perform different types of of people, different types of people other than your own. Of course, it's needed research and talent too. Okay, she had written something, so I thought I'd just read it out. Anyway, we'll take the questions later. So, sir, like as you have also as we are discussing this, I wanted to ask what is the what is the process of audition of how do you actually choose your actors? Like how, for instance, how did you choose Anjali? How did you choose Dinara? How did you choose Shyam?
Okay,
So
I have first of all, Anjali, I have heard from Tapas Naik, sound design about Anjali. Then I saw a clip of Delhi in a day. Then I invited Anjali to come to Chennai. And as soon as she got down from the vehicle, I knew that she's the right person. But I did a screen test, of course, because let's say in that particular character needed to be vulnerable and same time strong. So, and especially what I look at an actor is eyes, the eye movement, or the what his eyes tells. So is that is casting. So I mean, so it's when I feel that when you cast the right person, or I mean, let's say big deal has been done, or a lot of, I think it's achieved when you cast the right person. So that After that, we did, a script reading, then we shot some, and then I had the opportunity to look at them. Then it's natural. But when she got down from the car, I knew Shyam, of course, Shyam. I have never worked with Shyam, and but I have seen Shyam's work in theater. Shyam has done at that time. He has done, I think, one commercial, and I haven't seen any of his performances in films. But for the character, for a person who's try to suppress his emotions, and but so when you when so you- just you cannot say to an actor suppress your emotions, because if somebody is suppressing the emotions, it has to be seen by the people. I mean the audience. So that is acting. So for that, we did a screen test, and that's it. And for Gadi, uh, actually, years ago, I wanted Anjali to do the role. Then time passed, and then there were a lot of script changes. I had changed the script in the her character to a kind of a child bride. So I didn't have any option. Any option in the sense I searched for a long time, and luckily Dinara came to the audition, and then it's as soon as same like Anjali, as soon as I saw her, I thought that she's the right person for this character. But I'm I mean I work a lot with lot of time, spending a lot of time, because it's director's job is to make actors' life, the professional life, easy. Because if you cannot say to an actor, be relaxed, and they don't get relaxed, it doesn't work. So how do you make relax them by talking? Telling the essentials that they should know about the character, and with actor, with what actor does in the rehearsals. I also learn with the expressions that they are giving, and we are finding what is the truth in that moment. So then we discuss it. Sometimes it's completely something different will happen in the set, but always you have even you do rehearsals. I keep a lot of space for actors in the final shoot. I'm not going to ask them, you repeat what we did in rehearsals, because you are working in a real setup, not with, so that everything changes.
So, because why this question arose was, uh, I feel as much as acting or delivering a dialogue is important, sing song for that matter. But in your films also, in like many of the good films, we also see how much dubbing becomes an important part of uh, acting or the film. Especially, I've heard Shyam is also a very good dubbing artist in Sri Lanka, and Anjali. Not knowing, I assume that maybe she didn't know Tamil or Sinhala when she did With You Without You. So for instance, if I don't know a meaning of a word, so how do I say it? I know the sound, I understand the sound, but I don't know the meaning of the word, or I don't feel it. So how do I say the word? And the emotion is different. For instance, I can say the word. For instance, if I don't understand English, I can just get the grasp of it and say it. But my mind and heart are like trying to only connect to the emotion, not to the word. So how this works? I'm just curious to like know this. Like I know there
I
is rhythm and like sound and other things which are involved, but more than that, this meaning of the word and the emotion. How do you bridge the disconnect, if there is any?
uh, it begins with a very technical process. I mean, it has to be very technical in the beginning. I used to write all the lines, and I used to write each word in Devanagari, Marathi, the language I speak. So I would write the meaning, the sound of it in Devanagari, the meaning of it in Devanagari, and I would practice. I would know each and every word and what its meaning is. Then I would practice the sound of it. And I remember during With You Without You, with my Tamil lines, I forgot his name, the who used to teach me Tamil lines.
Mahendran. Mahendran.
Yes, Mahendran. So Mahendran used to also emote and tell me the lines. And he used to like tell me, no, you say it like that. And I used to tell him, no, you just tell me the sound of it. How I want to emote, I will emote. So I think it began with a very technical way. And then I remembered each and every sound of the word. And yeah, that's how I did it. I mean, now if you ask me to do it now, I don't think I will be able to. But yeah.
But to give Anjali credit, Naji, I should say, um, she didn't make any mistake while we are shooting, because we recorded the wild track and there was not a single mistake. So, all the Sinhala lines, all the Tamil lines were delivered by her. And I personally believe that when actor is acting, he's not only concentrating on the emotions, the face, he's concentrating, or he or she is concentrating on this dialogue also. So it's the best way for me is the sync sound. The Gardi I did with sync sound, but we otherwise we spent a lot of time. Even my earlier films, maybe 1 month, nearly 1 month sometimes, in a studio to get that accurate, that tone and everything. So but I must tell you another thing, because from a director's point of view, this story was told to me by Irene Jacob, who acted with Krzysztof Kieslowski in Red. Kieslowski didn't knew French. The film was in French, but the way Irene Jacob was delivering the lines, he felt whether it's false or not. But he didn't knew the French. And even in Hollywood, earlier, during the earlier times, Michael Curtiz, who directed Casablanca, didn't understood English properly. Ernest Lubitsch, who came from Germany, didn't understood English, or Billy Wilder in the beginning. So, but they got exactly, truthful performances, without dubbing, on the set itself. So that means even for a director, without knowing the language, he could judge.
And also, you have somebody who have worked with celluloid as a medium, like you have shot your films in celluloid. Then I think Gadi was shot in digital. So because I'm also a very big fan of close-ups as such. In our post, again coming from film school, where close-ups have been looked at in a certain way. But I remember in a class my teacher telling about Eisenstein's close-ups. Actually, it's like when you see Battleship Potemkin or even Joan of Arc for that matter. Those close-ups stay very close to heart even now. And I've heard that it's also because that you couldn't show the Russia's Soviets geography. There was a ban on spying, so people thought that you couldn't show a panoramic shot. So Eisenstein somehow thought that the close-up of a Russian proletariat face would actually give the sense of what Soviet land would look. So it was as beautiful as he would do things, not just montage. Obviously, close-ups are also coming from the angles and close-ups. So I am interested in knowing, because in film schools also, as we started with mostly with 1:3:3 ratio, which is like a letterbox format. So there, for instance, even now I remember Charulata, the face, the close-ups, which are still so beautiful. But when you move into widescreen, or for that matter, 70 or cinema scope, there is a space which comes like in your sides. So how this close up have changed over the years and how it had affected acting. Like, and also you can also couple another question with this, which is because we are speaking about celluloid and digital. With celluloid, there is also obviously privileged people went for even 70, 80 takes, but there are also people who couldn't go for takes because we couldn't go for takes. It was always 1:3 ratio when we did it in film schools. But with digital, we have got all the freedom to shoot how much ever you want. Like, people think that it's giving kind of a freedom. So one is regarding the close up, how it changes with aspect ratio and how it affects the actor. Second thing is how this change of medium had changed the acting per se in terms of takes.
Want me to answer, or Anjali or Shyam?
You.
Okay. Now, yeah, it's in the beginning. It was, as you say, I re- I came to know it about today, but it's quite true what you said. From a face, you can, tell about not only about about that person, about the whole nation, or the suffering of a nation. So that's, but same time in cinema, even with Eisenstein, cinema, in cinema, rasa, veda, or the sense lies not in a single shot. The rasa comes out from the way that you juxtapose with another shot. Mm. It, so we have done, Eisenstein does it with a different, did it with a different way. Griffith did it with another way. Or Tarkovsky does it his own way, as completely different to these two filmmakers. Mm. So there, now, because Tarkovsky said that the sense of cinema, or the cinema, the identity of cinema lies in single take, not by the editing. But he said that we should juxtapose the shot the way we see dreams, or the way we dream it. Now, with the time passage, the time passing, today filmmakers are, they are thinking not only about the theater, but about the digital media also. Other apps like Netflix. Or so they, most of them know that they will lose something in the. Rather than it's better. Most of the films that I see on these apps are mainly medium shots. Mm. Because that, in a small, when you are watching it on your laptop, or on your mobile phone, that long shot will be, the impact of the shot will be gone. But same time, before the COVID, I mean, there was a kind of a idea, or a belief that the, for the theaters, if it is a theatrical release, it should be massive. So if you see the films like, even these Harry Potter films, or the famous Tolkien series, Lord of the Rings, a lot of long shots to make it massive, to make audience come to the cinema. So it has been, with the time, we don't, because it will, it, changes all the time. And uh, do you- uh, the answer to your second question, I think, yes, Marilyn Monroe gave her best take in the most of the time on between 57th and 60th take. Okay, so as you said, yes, they had that. The time, they had the money, but I think a director should know, even this after the digitalization. It's, I feel, most of the time, it's kind of if the director doesn't know what he's going to get, or what he's asking, or what he does want, he can go on and go on. But it will make actors tired, everybody tired. And so that's has become very kind of, they believe that there'll be something in one of these takes. But I feel I still works as the same way I work in the, I mean, with the negative. I mean, working with the actor, finding out, trying to find out the truth behind the emotion.
Others, like how it actually impacts actors, like he had told from a director's perspective. Sham, Anjali, Dinara.
Yeah, I think I would like to raise this question to, I mean, between all among us. I think in films, what we show is what we see in life. So I have the question that how does we see the life? Is it in mid shots or extreme close-ups or in long shots? So in my life, I think I see a lot of things in mid shots. Right? I see my close-ups in with my intimate relationships. I see the close-ups. So long shots. I mean, we have been missing a long shots for a long time because I mean we have for the recent past we had no chance to move back to, I mean, such great landscape and to see a wide angle shot in our life. So uh, I still think I mean we see the drama of life in mid shots, and uh, personally I see my intimate things, people's inner things very rarely. So if filmmakers use that, so as an actor, I don't know which is, I mean, uh, the close up is quite, I think, quite technical. That the the actor used to, I mean, put something. I mean. Something not real, or I don't know, maybe you can be very faithful and realistic to what you do in close-ups, but I have seen in many actors they know that the camera and the lens is very close to you, and they tend they used to treat something not real in close-ups. That is my personal view. But when I am to, I mean, do something in front of very close to the camera, which is a close-up, I try to do, I mean, to be honest to the situation, but sometimes we'll be treating a little bit in the close-ups, personally I believe. But uh, to see life, I mean, uh, as it is, we see the life more in mid shots, I think. I personally believe.
But when Sham acted in With You Without You, mostly it was in close-ups and mid close-up because we wanted to create a kind of a claustrophobic atmosphere that he's entrapped. So the normal life will be in mid shots, but his life was not normal in the I mean the character. So to get that claustrophobic feeling, yes. And if let's say two characters, I mean they are looking for themselves, or that they are lost in with themselves and with the land, of course, director will go for a wider shot, which I did most of the time in Gadi. So it
Yeah,
happens with the necessity, not as a style,
yeah, yeah.
to tell the story.
Yes.
So that's why Anjali said, I think earlier, there are many tools apart from actors, acting, for, for a director, choosing the, as you say, Anjali said, shot size, lenses, and all that.
continuing to the close-ups, uh, I learned this. Like I remember in during With You Without You, Prasanna sir used to uh, tell me to control my eyes, for the close-ups, and he used to ask me to control the power of the eyes, like 50%, 60%, 70%. And in the beginning, I
Yeah,
didn't.
he did the same thing for me also.
Yeah, and it's amazing. I didn't even know how to do it, and through the time I realized that okay, it's not just the lens which could be controlled. It's my eyes that I would control the energy of it. And that's why maybe I think close-ups are my most favorite, because I feel this thing that I could play with it. With the digital and the film, I could only work on the film. In With You Without You, we shot on film, uh, um, and then rest of the things I did, they all were on the digital format. With going for multiple takes, especially sometimes, uh, I personally feel sometimes it works, because some of the films that you actually get to rehearse and you actually warm up for the, in most of the other films where they do not believe in preparation and everyone meets on the set. So during that time, it is absolutely a blessing to go for as many takes as possible. So everyone, you actually treat them as your rehearsals. uh, but I have also worked with filmmakers, with directors that would somehow go to a point where they in a way tire out the actor, and then find something out of it. I was in it, so I never realized I was most of the time pissed or angry that, I'm tired. I don't know what I'm doing anymore. So I don't know what they got, or I don't know which kind of takes. I absolutely forgot if it was the first or the last take. But I also was lucky enough to work with directors who used this technique to, in a way, tire out all your first flushes of responses of the actors, and then what you receive afterwards is something, it has the truthful quality to it, but of a different texture.
Actually, since Anjali and Dinara both said about this controlling, I would like to use the word restrain, because restrain brings more
Yes.
emotion. Hmm? It's, I mean, not discovered by me, it was discovered by Bresson.
And for that, you have to have a director like Prasanna Vithanage. I mean, I have seen him in some of the close-ups. He was not looking at the monitor itself. He was looking at us. So he trusted his own eyes for the close-ups rather than what the camera captures. He knows how the actor, I mean, was very truthfully behaving on his uh, situation. He is very confident on what uh, the actor is doing. So he's the only person I have seen that he was
The
having
reason, yeah,
confidence on.
yeah.
I mean,
The reason for, sorry, the reason for that is, I mean, to whom actor is performing, for whom he is performing. It's for director. Let's say in this interview, when I'm talking or when you are talking, if I look away, what do you feel? You will feel you are not, I mean, you are neglected, that I am not concerned about you. So that's because I value actors so much. I think it's director's job is judging their performance. So if director cannot be seen, if director is looking at the monitor, I know most of the time directors are looking at the monitor now, and but I look at the monitor if it is a movement is involved, the camera movement, to judge the whether the camera movement and the acting, I mean whether it was compatible. But otherwise, I feel it's better to look into the actor's face because they are performing for you.
Yeah, I'd
And
like to say something about this close up. Even when we were filming Gadi, when when you're in a close up, it's, the set is silent and everyone is so silent. And I feel like sometimes you can even hear your own heartbeat. And as Anjali said, I think even for me, a close up is you almost feel very personal in a way, because it's just so close. So yeah, that's what I'd like to say.
Prasanna sir, sorry, like I'm not turning here and there because I'm disrespecting you because I'm new to this medium
No,
and I'm
no, no.
letting, no, no,
Nothing
I'm just
happened like
letting you
this.
know.
I said
No,
if
no,
no,
I'm
no,
very
there
because
nothing.
there is one camera which is there. Should I see the right panel or the camera? Will the audience feel? Because a lot of people tell you don't look at the screen and say properly. So I'm just
Sorry,
telling you.
sorry. It was nothing personal here. It
Giving an
happens most of the with the interviewers.
Okay.
Anjali may know. I mean, Shyam, they will come and from the newspapers. They will okay. Then they will ask a question, and sometimes even in television they will look at it, and you are talking to yourself.
I'm just learning because of this new medium. So sorry.
Yeah, even because when it's even I request the other actor who is not in the frame. I mean, if let's say if he's out of the frame, please deliver your lines to the other
Mm.
actor as a respect. If the actress say or the actor say no, I don't need, then it's fine. But otherwise, you should the other actor should respect and do it as he did in the take.
And I think sometimes that really helps because, acting is mainly reacting. So if the other actor is, say AD says the line, the AD will say it in a very different way. And then your reaction to it is quite different. So I think it happens, but yeah, it's really important. I feel if the other actor is there, it helps me.
Some
Yeah,
ADs are good actors too, actually. Yeah,
but
Sham, yeah, yeah.
yeah. What I wanted to say was I mean I needed very much when the support of the co-actor or the actress, because I think as Dinara said, it's a process of stimuli and responding. So you need to have that stimuli to come up with your the correct, I mean the believable expression. We need that. So I mean when we are working with such people, I mean who is aware of this, we definitely get that support. But sometimes I mean personally I have rarely get that experience who the co-actor or the actress is not supporting the situation well. But luckily I have, I mean personally with Anjali and Dinara, I mean, my if I am doing something for the camera is, I mean, more than 50%, 70 or 70% of my acting becomes uh, from the support of my co-actor or the actress. I get, I mean, the inspiration and everything, my reaction comes from it, comes from the co-actor or the actress we deal with.
Yeah, I'd love to add something to what Shyam said. Theoretically, one of the great acting teachers, Sanford Meisner, who I mean was a teacher for many great American actors and actresses. He said, "What matters is not what you do. What matters is what the other person does to you. Maybe what from what he say, or she say, or the way the other person looks at you. That is the stimulant. So there is no one, I mean, other than the other actor in front of you. Finally, even in the camera, director is judging, but the other, what matters is the other actor. So that is the stimulant. Please look at him. Because when it is edited, it will look like a game of table tennis. So it's like you take the expression from the other person. Otherwise, if somebody is acting without, I mean, think about the other person or reacting to the other, so the character would be a kind of a self-indulgent, selfish person. Not knowingly, he would portray a selfish person. He would think that I'm selfless, but from his behavior, he looks like a, selfish person.
So this is more directed towards like actors per se. Like this question I've been encountered many times by many people, many occasions. So when you do a character, like I've heard a very beautiful interview by Abia Badam. He told that when you get in too deep into a character, so it starts from like getting into the psychology. Some people do it, some people don't do it. I'm not getting into the methods of it, but for instance, uh, if you are like too if you get in too deep into the character, and like if it is actually troubling and like it fucks up your entire life, and you're not able to come out of it. And we have had instances like I don't remember the guy who played Joker, or like there are a lot of instances. And also, it is also in one way. There are certain artists who feel that art is decay. Like unless and until you can't have a prosperous life, or you can't have a decent life, there are even people who would even mock at you if you wear a good shirt, like, or if you are like living a good life. So that is extreme. I'm not even getting into the mode of it, but technically or theoretically for that matter, getting into a certain kind of depth into a character, not being able to come out of it, how it affects the personal life. It could be for the director also, but now I'm focusing more on the actor, on the emotional aspect. So because Javier Badam said that it's almost like going to a journey without a return ticket. So you're fucked for life then if that happens. So I know that there are no formula to escape it, but how do you guys, especially I know how painful would have been to play Selvi, like this character in With You Without You for Anjali. uh, so how does that actually affects the personal life, and how do you keep the distance when you go to home? How do you keep the distance from your loved ones, and like how do you go about that in life?
There is no distance. You can't keep a distance. It is. Uh, I used to joke about this, but not joke. It With You Without You took almost 3-4 years of my life. It was uh, it was not easy. I mean, the yeah, it's never easy. Like, love is never enough. That was like what's written on the poster of With You Without You. And I realized it much later when I came back doing the film. When I was doing the film during that time, it is absolutely painful. I mean, not a single day I think I would have, I don't remember not crying, probably, almost. So that was the process. But I think I remember Prasanna sir saying about this, that it's and I used to like cry and ask him, like, why it is so painful, why. And he I guess he told me that it's kind of your uh, it's kind of your responsibility to do it, as this medium, as an actor. I don't exactly remember the words, but somehow I realized that okay, if I'm given this medium to play this character, to become the medium, then it is in a way sacred duty for me to do it. And when it becomes so sacred, then everything that belongs to Anjali as a person gets, gets secondary. So I was not able to fall in love for like almost 3 4 years. I was absolutely sad and depressed for various reasons, but one of them was this character. And I decided not to work in films which would affect me so much. Afterwards, I took a break. I took a really long break. And some would say that, that's not the, you should not work like this. You should be able to switch on and off. But that was not with me. That's still not with me. I cannot work with until and unless there is not even the hairline between me and the character. After a point, it has to be the character. And when you see, in recent times, in recent work, when I saw my personality overtaking the character, I somehow felt a betrayal in that. So I think as an actor, your journey changes, the way you deal with it changes. But yes, With You Without You was one of the most intense experience as an actor. You do a lot of things. I found different ways to deal with it. I would cut off totally from the film. I would do something else. I would take up a skill. I started to live in villages for the same matter. Then I could live a life where I'm not even an actor or anything. Uh, I would work on different skills. Uh, yeah, that's what I did.
Yeah, I think it's a very, like, I agree with what you say. It's quite a painful after effect, especially even in Gadi. I think Prasanna sir knows this. Like, I always say this, like, when I finished shooting, and we shot for about 2.5 months. So we didn't even go home. So we were in the, in the, on set, and we didn't, come back to Colombo. We were out of Colombo. And so, you're totally immersed in the character. And when we finished and we came home, I still remember that day. I just missed that character. I felt like, these 2.5 months, she was my best friend. She was part of me. We rehearsed for 8 months, like, and she's gone. And it just takes such a big toll on you. I remember it took us, I think it even took the production, some of the production team, people, they were also quite emotional. So I would like to say it's all about balance, but I really don't know how you can reach that, you know. Now I know, like, Daniel Day-Lewis, he comes on set as the character, he leaves as the character. You don't know who he is. So I just feel, as for an actor, there's so much you give from your heart, and I think it's time that people also understand that, because I feel like, some people, they're just like, oh, acting is so easy, you just go, you just act and you come, but you lose so much in the process. So yeah.
Uh, uh, well, I think it's quite the acting is somewhat, close to like delivering a baby, right? You the pregnancy period is more important. I mean, how you develop inside of the character, then we feel that gradually it's developing. I mean, I've heard that Leonardo DiCaprio said he need at least 6 months to get prepared for the character. I mean, for the pregnancy period. I mean, so when you develop day by day before the shoot, uh, with different materials and sources, information and emotions, you develop the character inside you, and during the shooting period, you are delivering it. So and it's, as Anjali said, it's very painful and painful, and at the same time, you know that you are giving birth to something. You are giving birth to a new person, a new life. So even that feeling of, I mean, I'm doing something great is also inside you when you are on shoot. In Sri Lanka we rarely get directors like Prasanna Vithanage, because he supports all the process. I mean, throughout that pregnancy period to the delivery. I mean, as a mother and a father. I mean, he was so caring to his actors and the crew members as well. And he was just like a surgeon when we are delivering a performance in front of the camera on set. So he was very concerned about to deliver a helpful and good character to the world. So then, of course, Anjali, it's very. I mean, you need a certain period of time that depends on person to person to get. I mean, after the delivery, there's a lot of pain. That pain carries even a kind of happiness as well, that you have done something, you have done something to the world. uh, we come to know about what you have done with the director and with the critics and with the audience after they respond to what we have done. So for me, it's again something painful, and something uh, kind of satisfaction is also there, that I have done something that which I was trying for that certain period of time. Um, After the shooting of With You Without You, I had to travel about more than 50, 60 kilometers from the set to my hometown. So this is, I'm telling you, for the first time, I don't know why I was crying for the whole time from the set to the home. I don't know what I felt like I was missing something, and I was, I know I was losing something. Or I mean, I cannot express that feeling that I don't know, I was crying for the 2 or 3 hours from the set to home, and it takes some time, yeah, definitely, to recover, and maybe certain things cannot be recovered. Maybe that's why, I mean, actors are, uh, I mean, uh, suffering from, I mean, some of the characters they have done uh, very truthfully. So there is a pain there. Yeah.
I think Kanachi, I mean, all of them were very sincere about what they said, so I should be also sincere with them. Uh, Actually, it's, you know, it's a very valid question. And I have this doubt all the time because we request from actors to undergo certain mental agonies, mental constraints without, I mean, the director may know about, he has written, if, I mean, for in my case, I have written the script, so I know what's going through her, let's say Anjali's character. But she's the one who is suffering. I mean, she's undergoing all these emotions. And I play God, and I judge. So for, I mean, it's the act. That's why I value actors. Same time, while value. So maybe, I mean, feel one maybe one. I mean, as a director, I feel it's kind of a bastard act. Bastard acting in the sense we are pushing the actors into this fire? That was your question. Yes. So it's very difficult for the actors to come out because they have undergone so much emotions. You know, it's in a love affair. One when you say love, because there is no judgment. I mean, the lovers doesn't judge each other. That's why you become lovers. But in filmmaking, you are judging all the time. Director is judging all the time the uh, actress or actor. So now, so it's very for them. It will be, as Anjali said, it will have kind of a let's say a negative or a mental pressure that though whatever the applauds may be, whatever the good reviews, it doesn't pass away because you are those emotions are with you, and in a way, an actress or actor may feel, why did I do this? For what reason? So that's what I think happened. I mean, to Marlon Brando, he openly said, "For what reason?" When his one, directors betrayed him. Let's say like Elia Kazan, giving evidence in the McCarthy, in the House of Un-American Activities. So what's the reason? So that then it will lead a person or an actor to to mistrust the whole thing. So I totally agree with what Anjali said. It's kind of, it's easy for the director to talk about and to judge, but to undergo all the emotions, like Shyam said, she's delivering. The pain will be known only by the mother who is delivering. So that's why we should respect actors more. That's the only thing that a director could do. But it's a kind, as I said, it's in from a director's point of view, or rather, I'm not saying when you look at objectively, when you look at it, yes, it's a kind of a push people into, let's say, fire. Travel with the fire, go through this fire.
As you have, as you have already mentioned, Brando.
Yeah.
So I remember this incident with what happened in Apocalypse Now when the director tells him to lose weight and he becomes fat, and like the entire film was shot in dark and all that. But for me, what for instance, ethically it would have been very, you could judge him for doing that. But at the end of the day, when the Oscar ceremony happened and like when he sent that Red Indian girl to get the award, so why I'm like right now I'm thinking about Brando and like other things is that another which pertinent question which always we have faced as artists is the responsibility. I would say it is a political responsibility for that matter. So especially with actors, with director, I think in one way or other there is a control because you're writing the script, you're directing, and like 99% you wouldn't do a film without believing in what you're doing unless and until you're doing uh, for bread and butter. Sometimes we have to do certain things but not the entire film. But for actors, for instance, if you're playing a role which you do not agree, for instance, I consider myself as a Marxist who is like trying to practice. But if I am told to play a role of Hitler, I would play, but that film should not glorify Hitler. Then I would play. At the end, the film should not be glorifying the misogyny or the fascist attitude of the person. Then I would play. But if it is a film which is glorifying Hitler, what Rennie Riefenstahl have done, or many of other films, for instance, if a film is glorifying Trump or Modi, for that matter, for it's a personal thing, I'm telling. So I wouldn't play. So how does a actor uh, take a call there? Of course, it comes with privilege. I'm not asking about the early career actors. Many times you don't even have options. But when you have option, like Brando for that matter. For money, he could have done anything, but he did choose certain values. So how do you? And again, there is a rape charge on him. I'm not discounting that. Like that's a different case altogether. I'm not discounting that. That is a different matter. But still, I'm just asking it as a general question: how this responsibility you take as people who play that role, and it is going to cause enormous amount of damage in the society if it is going to be a very poisonous film. So not just the director, the actor also holds that responsibility. So how does one goes through this, like in the early career and when you have a choice, both?
I think most of the actors in the early phase of the career, which is pretty much driven with your personal ambitions, personal desires, and there is a chance that this responsibility of or the sense of the power which you hold is little bit colluded. It's little bit hazy, but and with time, with the maturity or with the experience, or with the clarity where you stand as a person, like your choices, of course they depend so much on your on how you see yourself or how your personality interact with the surrounding. And I'm not by that I do not say that how much knowledge you have of certain philosophies or certain ideas. A person will have no idea about certain big words and big philosophies, but just as a person, what he holds as value to himself, to his life, will reflect on his choices. So I think in the beginning it might get a little bit hazy, but talking about myself as an artist, I think most of my films and most of my roles, the choices were influenced by the people I worked with, or the people I studied with, or the institutes, or the people I saw, or the world cinema I saw. So my values as an artist were pretty much with this thing, that me and my responsibility as an artist. So if I see, and thankfully it was not about making, nobody imposed me this career. Nobody imposed me to become an artist. This was my personal choice, because I wanted to express. I found this expression of becoming an artist to interact with the world. So I fought with my family to go to a drama school and study theater, and that's why there was no pressure of building a certain career, or having a certain name or fame. That did come later on. That did come when I came to Bombay for a brief period of time, and then I struggled with my values as well, because there is a market which imposes their value. There is a system which imposes their value on you as an artist. So there was a lot of conflict, and during that conflict, I think the choices were the choices became, yeah, people used to ask me that why do you choose to do so, like, extremely feminist, extremely strong, woman oriented films, or this, uh, somehow maybe that's what I related with, and I in a way attracted those films. uh, and and I and when other films came to my way, or other roles came to me, which had uh, which had no logic for the female characters, or which had no significance to their existence, I questioned, and I could not relate with it as me as a woman. So I could not do it. Um of course there is a certain flexibility, and I'm not saying flexibility, I'm not using this word with being politically correct, flexibility as an actor, as your texture. There has to be a certain flexibility to the actor, and not have, you know extreme views politically, philosophically, spiritually. You have to be in that point where you are like that doll, which just moves. So there has to be that thing with you as an actor. uh, but for example, if there is a violence with my character in a film, uh, I would like to have that violence, answered in some or the other way in the film. And I cannot just have someone slap me and not have the answer, not right away slapping him back or her back, but in some or the other way, I will ask the writer or the director that how do this character, answers back to this. So there is a slight, sense of responsibility which most of us have. Some of us, and it's a personal choice. It's a very personal choice. Some people have a very clear agenda with the fame, with the success, with the money, and there is no judgment about it. So I think it's very personal, but we cannot deny the fact that as an artist, we have extreme we it's from centuries. We have always had this responsibility to talk and to represent, about the social, conditions around us. So we cannot run away from that. We cannot become, yeah, we cannot run away from that.
Yeah, I think it definitely comes to your personal choice. Because what might be wrong for you might not be right. I mean, wrong for me. So we can't really judge someone for doing a certain role or something. Because I feel like people do, like artists especially, they do certain roles, they act in certain things because of different reasons, for personal reasons. So I feel like, now example for me, there are certain things that I won't do as an actor, or an artist, but that doesn't go for somebody else. So I think, like Anjali said, it's all your personal view at the end of the day. And as an actor, you have to also know, like she said, stay in the middle, in terms of not having too many extremist views on different things, because you're, at the end of the day, you're telling a story, you're showcasing a character, but at the same time, like she said, if you know your family background or your values or where you've studied, they come to play a part of the person you are, so you automatically choose your avenue as you go.
I think just a correction. Maybe my question was little twisted when I asked, because as Prasanna sir also stated about Nati Shastra and Rasa, like, so there I've read and heard from people the essential role of a actor is to do the bhava, and like the rasa should be conveyed to the audience. This is all it. So if that is all it for an actor, but we are like centuries apart. We don't even know whether it was written by a single person or many people. We are like centuries away. Industrialization happened, two world wars have happened, and like so many things have happened, and we are in the age of mechanical reproduction of art, as Walter Benjamin says. So there are no rituals anymore. We don't do an act, for instance, a street theater or certain acts where even like I would say that I can discount a street performer just for a matter of entertaining, saying a very, very politically incorrect joke, and a superstar doing a very misogynist role. I don't think both are same. So I
No.
see a difference there also. Like it is also, when it comes to cinema, it becomes more and more responsible, because in a street theater, just somebody can make a joke and people will laugh, and I think that is all. But cinema can make heavy damage. Like that's
Yeah,
why
I
that's why I
agree with
think
that.
that question came to me.
Yeah, I agree with that. Like example, when you're a superstar, there's so much power that you have. You have so much responsibility, and you inspire so many people. And I think not really in Sri Lanka, but in India, say example, I love Shah Rukh Khan, and say you are in a position of power like that, you can change and influence so many people's lives. So I understand what you mean. Like, I think as a superstar, there's so much responsibility that I think you have to make it in a way. You have to be responsible because there's so many people following you. Um, so like you said about like not being politically correct or whatever, I think it comes down to the individual.
Sorry, we cannot hear you, Nachi.
Yeah, and I
No,
think
no. Prasanna
Prasanna
sir is
sir is
missing,
not.
so that's what I was like.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask a question to him. So, uh, is there a way? How do we? If he's there, I think I wanted to take one last question to him, and then I thought we'll just answer the comments and like we'll wrap it up. So, Dinara, can you call him and like ask?
Yeah,
What is
sure.
it?
Let me do that. 1 second.
So, Shyam,
Yeah.
this personally I wanted to ask you because you are somebody who are also into dubbing. So that means that you also dub for other people. So it's because this is very curious for me because I've done mimicry in my school times. Now I don't do, I can't do now. I'm out of practice. But there is also a film you might have seen named Shamitab. There was a real character named Mohan. He was a very big superstar in Tamil. And after a point, what happened? The duo braked. The guy who used to dub for him, he refused to dub later, and Mohan just vanished. He was called Mike Mohan because always he used to sing with mics, so he was called Mike Mohan also. So he ruled the industry. I mean, Silver Jubilees after Silver Jubilees, but after a point he just vanished because the guy who dubbed. This was also made into a film named Shamita. Uh, Amitabh Bachchan and Dhanush had acted. So
Yeah, I was working as a dubbing artist for about one or two TV series. Actually, to tell you honestly, this as a connection between what you were discussing earlier. Uh, of course, in films, when I was invited to in a film, I think a lot of things. What this film is going to uh, what impression does this film have on the society? Is it going to damage or is it uh, working in a positive way with the society? So when I choose a film, of course, I think a lot of things about what I do because it will remain for about many years, decades or hundred of years, what you have done. But of course, after my son was born, I have contributed to so many commercial things such as dubbing and TV series. Also, I have worked to earn money because that does not. I mean. Uh, had any positive impact on me with working on that teledramas and teleseries, but to afford my family and for the sake of my family, I have done, I mean, certain type of things, dubbing for other people and acting in TV series uh, to earn money. I had the impression of using my expression, my art only to what I believe uh, till my children were born. Right? To tell you honestly, I have done so many things that I do not believe and I do not want to do for the sake of my family.
I thought you were enjoying dubbing, like because some people do enjoy. Like there are a lot of dubbing artists. I
No, no.
observe them closely. That is also an art differently.
Yeah, but
So,
I never, I mean, enjoying topic. No.
so Prasanna sir,
Yes.
yeah, one last question, and I think we'll wrap up the session. Because maybe we'll take one or two questions which are in the comment session. So this is something which always I wanted to. I'm struggling to learn every day. One thing is, uh, for instance, how do you tell an actor to not do anything? Like for instance, it's easy when it comes to tell them to emote or tell a line or something, but sometimes it becomes very easy. Like for instance, if I have to tell them, you hold a cigarette and you're lost in your thoughts, because this is very cerebral what I'm telling, but the actor has to do it physically. For me, sitting simply is something I cannot sit without moving my body, like I'm made like that, or somebody can look still. So this is very technical in that way. So I just wanted to ask you that how do you actually do this, like, is he there?
Is I think it's on mute.
Yeah, I don't know. I've asked him to start the video, but
Yep.
sir, did you listen to my question? Did you hear the audio?
Yeah. Sorry, I lost it. Sorry, Nachi.
Yeah, it's
Now
fine.
we're fine. Yeah. Tell
should
me.
i should I repeat the
Yeah.
question or you got it?
Yes, because I lost the connection.
Okay, okay. So I was just asking, like, for instance, for me, I struggle with this every time. So it's okay. I can understand when I want to say a line to an actor, and she or he says that line, or emotes, or cries, or laughs. But when it comes to certain emotions, certain, what you call, maybe sty bow or something, like what they call, like, which are like very subtle, and like, for instance, if I have to tell them, be still, don't do anything. So how are these things dealt actually, in technically and also practically, when you do a film? For instance, you tell me that you're doing nothing, because I don't understand what is doing nothing means. Like, so me myself, I don't understand, but very easily we tell to actors, you just walk, you don't do anything, you just walk, you do nothing. So but how does this happen? So this is something I feel very conflicted when I have
Yeah.
to do
Yeah.
this.
Yeah. So because I mean, since you have studied the Bresson also, there's answer. Uh, because when you falsify the emotions, when you ask them to certain, let's say, emotion mechanically, I mean, it won't be truthful. So what you could do is always, that's what I'm trying to do, and this is where it takes a lot of time to find out a language how to talk to actors, because sometimes we talk a lot, and I mean, Anjali knows this, so it doesn't help actors. Okay, director would like to talk to act and so much, so giving so many. So what I think, what you should tell is what to do, because every action brings the character. Through the action we see the emotion, not the other way. Okay. So that's why that's why the Bresson said models to give the action. But when you say action, when you give the action, already you have chosen the actor because you feel that he or she is the right person for this character. And with the help of the actor, you are developing the character. So when you say just be there, you know, I mean, she can or she cannot be there, but you be there.
His connection is instant. Unstable,
Yeah.
huh?
just be, play himself or herself. It should be telling the actor, okay, just be there. I feel that it's an insult because, it's, for the actor, it was insult because, he doesn't have to do anything. But sit there. Why? The reason. And maybe you could, could you tell him after the day that's why it was important to be sit there and from what the way he sat there, what you felt. Because it's a kind of an interchange. It's a change. We are exchanging. So it's sometimes you had they have. Some directors have got like Bresson, and but because why? What is the reason behind it? The reason is that means that direct. Stanislavski said there are two ways. One way is by a physical action. You could bring the inner feeling, or the other way is the inner feeling. You give an action to your inner feeling. So both ways, a director could get the performance. But the way I think it's always, if I say in few words, always tell the actor what to do and not what he or she should thought. Because acting is nothing to do with thinking. If the actor looks like, then it will be, so audience will be thinking, oh, okay, or you are not thinking. Then what matters is always give the action, it's something to do, but you should be judging from the action that he or she does, whether it represent the right emotion. I don't know whether I gave the, correct answer to a question. It's always, Nachi, it's always, after directing 8 feature films, I'm still learning how to talk to actor, how to make actors, their job easy, how to, and same time, I think here today we talk with three actors and their temperaments, their characters are different. So as a director, I think you should understand them each. So that's why, some directors, I mean, believe that it's not a giving you direction only, that you it's a kind of a journey about, not only about acting about one film, it's you are sharing certain things in your life with actors, and actors also when they trust you, uh, they will that then only they will bring certain things from their life. So that's why kind of a, I think it's a friendship, it's a trust, and it's a human understanding of two people, the actor and director relationship. It's the understanding about each other.
I think yeah, it's a lifelong journey. I also think like we have to maybe live with this contradiction and find a, maybe there won't be a way. We'll always be struggling with this.
Yeah, don't worry about contradictions.
Mm.
Always look at your contradictions. Okay, don't, actors or the director shouldn't shy away from their contradictions. They should bring out their contradictions. Then only they will find the humanity.
So so I think sir, like it's been a wonderful session, and like I thought we'll take some questions. Let me see if
Yeah.
there are like some questions. Like there are so many comments. I don't know like whether we can take. some questions.
Uh, there was one question. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, tell me, sir, please.
There was one question from Claudette. The late, she asked, like she said, it's about like meditation. So Anjali should answer that because Anjali, I mean, practices meditation more than me. So whether there is a connection or it's completely different.
I think everybody had asked me one question, that where can we see with you, without you. That I've given all links of your films today morning, so that has been answered already. Uh, yeah, other things are all very philosophical for us to even understand. It's all long messages, so there are no questions as such, like whether we
That's
can.
good that even, I mean, if we, I mean, our discussion was able to bring, I mean, the philosophy in themselves. That's very encouraging.
Yeah, I think so. So thank you, sir. Thank you, Anjali.
Thank
Thank
you,
you,
Nancy. Thank
Dinara.
you all. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you
you,
for
Shyam.
the.
thank you,
Any
everyone.
closing remarks for from everyone to young uh, filmmakers, actors, artists? Like closing remarks. Then we close the session.
I think I gave you long answers from you. I mean, three of you should talk now.
No, sir, come on.
I have to say
No,
only
from
one thing: be honest to do, be honest uh, to. I mean, to your work. That's all I want to tell you.
And I think also be yourself, you know, don't try to be somebody else.
Uh, I would say that uh, yeah, art is something. In the beginning, we really think that art is for myself and for my own expression. But the time in which we are right now living, I think any kind of artist, it doesn't matter if you are the young upcoming or have lost ambition and are on the verge of leaving the medium or changing your medium to something else. Whatever it is, just understand that you have the power, and you have the power to express something, to relate with the world. So yeah, you use it with a lot of responsibility and understand and be proud about that you have that power to speak or to express yourself as an artist.
since Anjali said about the power, and Nachi said about the actor politicians, I should say that Anjali, most of the time, actors use their power. I mean, which I mean, completely contradictory thing to you and what you said, to accumulate more power by becoming part of the system, by becoming politicians, and for them, acting is kind of a ladder that would them to climb the upward mobility. So, but that's nothing to do with acting. I mean, you could be a politician and you could amass a lot of money, but you could be easily forgotten. And but actor's job is hard, and it's always, I think what Stanislavski said is correct. In art, don't love yourself, love what is in you. The what is in you means what's the art in you, not yourself, because it demands that selflessness. uh, that's what I feel.
Yeah, like so when I said about this actors claiming a political thing also, like I don't see it in a very bad way also, because if you could use it, and if you could become a really really people oriented politician, nothing like that, at least your art is helping you do that. Like I don't see propaganda as I think every artist in one way or other propaganda. We are like, maybe some people tell it and some people don't tell it. We are all trying to make some point. I feel it's a personal thing. And one comment which I've been, many comments are there which we couldn't answer. Some are very long, but one thing which many people have asked is about the medium of the conversation, which predominantly was in English. Almost all was in English because we were all people from different languages. So we might be able to. I think we will try to get it subtitled in Sinhala and Tamil for the people to better understand and put it in. When we put it in YouTube, we will get it subtitled in Sinhala and Tamil, but that will take some time. Thank you all for joining,
Thank you all.
of course, the guests and also the people who have been watching this. I wish we were in a different time where we could see each other, touch each other, and feel each other. That will happen very soon. All this should, I think we are on the verge of getting a vaccine also, so things should become normal. And we will be having another session very soon. We'll keep you posted. I don't want to say like, subscribe or not, but I think it will be great if you just like support us in whatever way possible, because this is absolutely not a kind of a company or a NGO to gain profit. This we are just doing as a group of artists to help each other find a way to express and to form a little more nuanced and meaningful and like committed community of artists and people. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for actually bringing this. Yeah, it's amazing. Yeah, you brought all of us together, and we really enjoyed the conversations. So thank you, Nachi.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having us.
Okay, sir. Like, it was a pleasure like to have you all here. Shyam, Anjali, Dinara, Prasanna. Thank you from bottom of my heart. Like we shall sometime meet physically and like talk about other things also.
Yes.
Bye.